Hey y'all, it's me and Yoda hanging out on top of the world. So, with the events and things going on in the world and in the last week to 10 days to 2 weeks, whatever, everything that's going on, all the crazy stuff, made me want to put my tinfoil hat on. You like it? Is it stylish? But seriously, y'all, I want to start right off. I haven't been feeling much like getting on YouTube, doing any videos or just really talking to anybody. And I think that was just because, I'm someone who feels a lot, and everything that's been going around or everything that's been happening, um, I feel it deeply. And I have been talking with a lot of people, and I did not realize how much my inner circle, well, not my inner circle, my friend circle, who I thought we were on the same page, apparently we're not. And it's just kind of heavy. It just weighs heavy. And a lot of it, when things come to spiritual matters, religion, things can cut really deep. That's why they tell you, never talk about, politics or religion, keep it safe to the weather. And even then, these days, you can't even talk about the weather because the weather is so crazy. Um, and look, I'm all about seeing what's going on out there, knowing everything is not on the up and up. Doesn't matter if it's here on my homeland or overseas. I know there's corruption everywhere. And so I am not blind to that. I know there's corruption everywhere. It sometimes it comes down to a point where, you don't know where to turn to get honest information. You don't know who you can trust. People in the prepper community are kind of, divided. People at home are divided. People, just out in the world, everyone is divided. This is where our enemy wants us to be. Now, when I say our enemy, I'm talking about our, the enemy of the world. And I'm not talking about certain groups of people or certain countries on this earth. I'm talking about, the devil. I'm talking about Satan himself. And I'm a Bible believer. So a lot of my worldview is going to be coming through it's the Bible. It's filtered through the Bible. So I can see, I've read the Bible, and I know how this is going to end. I can see the Bible unfolding before my eyes. I can see that we're living in a Romans 1, an apostate world. I know that that's where we're living. I see things happening in my own country that I really did not think, even just 10 years ago, that I would not see in my lifetime. It's a lot to take in. And then when you add on the conspiracy theories, that there are some that, I watch and I follow and I observe. I just found out, with the recent events that have happened in this last week in the Middle East, I find out that there's even, more things to dive into. There's just too much crazy stuff. Even this friend of mine said that she couldn't figure out, she didn't know who to trust, who to turn to, which story was right and which was not. And this is what happens with conspiracy theories, right? And you know what? I'm just going to do this right now. I'm going to tell y'all it's time to take this off. So it is time to take off. It just disappeared. Oh, I love these green screens. But anyway, I was telling my friend it's time for us to stop getting caught up in the deep dives, the rabbit holes, the confusion that's out there. There's this story and this story contradicts it, or this whatever, and all the social media, you don't know which videos are true. Everything could be doctored. You don't know if someone is even what do I call it, translating a speech from a foreign leader. You don't even know if they're translating it right. How do I know that what's coming across the screen is being translated properly. And I know y'all feel this way. I know y'all because I see conversations. I see it on, Instagram. I see comments on YouTube videos. I'm in chats with other people, and it can lead to a lot of noise in your head. And the way that I can get rid of that noise, or how not get rid of it, one way to tame that noise is to just take your focus off of everything that's happening around you, the waves and everything that's happening around you, and focus it on the Lord. Those of you that may have different beliefs than me, just, just to stay with me here. Maybe you can apply what I'm saying to your belief system. But for me, there is in the Bible, one of Jesus's disciples wanted to verify if that what he was seeing was him. So the disciples were in a boat, their fishing boat, whatever. They were in their boat. They were out in the water. And what they saw was a man walking on the water, and Peter wanted to know if that was Jesus. If that's you, let me know it's you and bid me to come out on the water. And Jesus said, come out, and Peter gets out and he starts walking on water towards Jesus. But when Peter got into trouble is when he took his eyes off of Jesus and looked at all the waves and everything, all the chaos and the crashing waves and all the angry sea around him. And that's when he started to sink. Now, Jesus saved him, pulled him up, and there's another story right there as well. Jesus pulling us out of the chaos. But the lesson there for me is that when I'm focused on Jesus and I put all of my sights on him, and I can walk right through all of this tumultuous world around me. Psalm 23 says, yea, though I walk through the valley of the shadow of death, I will fear no evil, for thou art with me, thy rod and thy staff comfort me. And it says that we will walk through the valley. It doesn't say that Jesus saves us from the valley or God saves us from the valley. It says that we will walk through the valley. And I think these times now we have to be prepared to walk through the valley. But we also need to remember that Jesus is going to be with us. His promise is that he will be with us. We have God with us. That is what Emmanuel is. That's what we have Christmas. Emmanuel means God with us. He came amongst us and he dwelt amongst us. Anyway, getting back to what I wanted to say to my friend is what I told her. I said, what she was suggesting was that about corrupt governments in the little tiny country over in the Middle East right now, if you know what I mean, that has the Star of David on their flag. I told her, I said, okay, so yeah, there's corrupt governments. We have a corrupt government, I'm pretty sure. All right. But I said, there may be corrupt governments, but God is above them all. They will not thwart what he has planned. They, meaning the corrupt governments, they will not stop his will from being done. Corruption in the world does not shake me, nor does it worry me. God will do what he will do, regardless of man-made governments, regardless of whose name is on so many buildings over there in Israel, regardless of anything, of any of the corruption and money laundering or whatever, lies and deceit. God is above all of it. And that should not shake us. Okay. Yes, there may be true. These stories, these tinfoil hat conspiracy theories might be true, right? We all have seen a lot of them come true over the last year to 10 years that a lot of these conspiracy theories end up being fact. In the Bible, it says that we are to take a Sabbath. Okay. The seventh day, God rested, and it's the Sabbath day. And I want to tell you what, as part of the creation week, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, on the seventh day, God rested. And in the Bible, and I believe it's in Matthew or Mark, I can't remember. It's one of the M ones. It says the Sabbath was created for man, not man for the Sabbath. And I think we forget that because we get so caught up in going to church and doing all these other things and work and all this, that we don't take a Sabbath day. We don't take a day of rest. And I was challenged recently by actually just someone listening to a podcast, to take a Sabbath from not just rest from work, but to take a true Sabbath and just detach from everything. Take off the tinfoil hat, unplug your phone, unplug your computers, unplug your TV, and ground yourself. Y'all need to touch grass. Let me tell you, some of y'all, we're getting wound up so tight, and y'all need to just go touch grass, okay? And I'm speaking to myself here, okay? But we all need to go outside, stand in the sun, let the sun shine on you. If it's, if it is sunning outside, it's raining today, so I would be able to do it today. But seriously, let the grass touch your feet. Remind yourself that you are a living person, a human being. Take a deep breath and unplug from all of this. If you can, that's a challenge, because sometimes, you might put your phone down for an hour, but then you're like right back up to it. A lot of y'all, myself included, this is the first thing we pick up. I can't see my phone. There we go. This is the first thing we pick up in the morning. We wake up. Sometimes we use our phones as alarms, and we wake up and we're already scrolling and checking messages or checking social media. I challenge y'all to take a true Sabbath, to take a Sabbath from, just your busy work. Now, I know when it comes to prepping and you have to do things like canning and freeze drying and dealing with your garden, that you might have a hard time doing it, but I challenge you to make the time. And that was important, because if God did it and God took a day of rest, and I think we should too, I think it's for our own mental health and well-being, for our physical health and well-being, and also our spiritual health and well-being. Give us the time to get in, the Bible, spend time with friends. We need that social interaction. We need that time of just taking a break, changing the scenery, go for a walk, go for a hike. I can't stress this enough, because I think there's just more and more that's happening in the world, things that are wanting our time. Can the garden wait another day? I don't know, maybe. I think we get so caught up what if something happens today? What if something happens today? Yeah, I get that, which is why we don't want to waste the other 6 days. So manage our time well. Don't put off to tomorrow what you can do today, right? Do these things today. So don't wait until I understand there's schedules. People have schedules that they have to work with, and they have to push things off to the weekend, but I challenge you to really look at your schedule. I'm challenging myself. Okay. I'm challenging all of us. This is fun. I challenge y'all, anybody that's watching this video, okay, or maybe you just tell your friends and family to do the same thing. I am sure that there is time to disconnect. I was going to say disconnect every day. I challenge you to not touch your phone. You do this, to not touch your phone for the first hour of your day and the last hour of your day. Okay. I'm going to challenge y'all, but challenge myself right along with you, and see how much of a difference it makes. It may make you more productive. You might feel more healthy. You might, just feel a little less bogged down, because, not to mention all the stuff that comes with these things like EMFs and whatever. These things aren't going away. The world and all of its systems and money and whatever we want to talk about, any person from the WEF down to your local government, those governing systems, they'll be there tomorrow. They'll be there the next day. They're not going anywhere. They've made it pretty clear. Another reminder that I wanted to share with you all is Ephesians 6:12. For we do not wrestle against flesh and blood, but against principalities, against powers, against rulers of the darkness of this age, against spiritual hosts of wickedness in the heavenly places. Our fight is not with each other. Okay. It's not with your husband or wife. It's not with your mom or dad. It's not with your siblings, your neighbor, a coworker, fill in the blank there. Okay. Our fight is not with flesh and blood. That's us. That's people. We are in, and I think a lot of people realize this regardless of their faith, we are in a spiritual battle And however that equates for you, you believe that there might be forces, dark forces at work, dark spirits, energy, that Satan, the devil, all of that. There are powerful forces behind a veil, if you will, a veil that we can't see through, but I think is becoming thinner and thinner to where those principalities are bleeding into our time. And these forces are what we're fighting against. And so it's very important. Maybe I just now thought of this, exchange your tinfoil hat for a spiritual hat for the Bible. Put on the helmet of salvation. Okay. I used to have a saying with some of the women that I talk with in my addictions recovery group, and I would say, armor up, y'all. And because we were always talking about equipping ourselves with the armor of God, and that's in the Bible, it talks about the different pieces of the armor and kind of equating it to what a Roman soldier would wear, from the belt. And on the belt that they would just wear that belt all the time. It was kind of one of significance, but they would have this belt. And on that belt was the rest of the armor went on that. It built up from the belt, and the belt is truth. And on the belt of truth go all of the other things, the breastplate of righteousness, and then you have a shield of faith, you have the helmet, but without that belt, you can't put the rest of it on. So don't try to put the rest of your armor on until you're grounded in the truth. You have that belt on. And and then don't forget your shield of faith. Don't forget your sword of the truth, and don't, forget your helmet. A lot of us, if I can equate that to today's times, a lot of us will try to just get up, run out of the house, and maybe have one piece of, have a shield, but that's not going to do you any good if you don't have your belt on with the rest of your armor on. Okay. We just try to do one piece. You got to have the whole armor. And you know what? And the best thing is that it's not any armor that we could design. It's not man's armor. It's God's armor. And have the very armor of him that he has given to us to equip us for the battle. And we don't have to go in fighting, with it, like running in full blast, with your sword and everything. It's actually, it's so that we can stand against the fiery darts from the enemy, to stand strong against these all of these things that are coming at us. And if I could say, the conspiracy darts, the darts of confusion and chaos, frustration, anger, those things that are coming in and just bringing in all this confusion, whatever it is in your life, plus whatever it is out in the world. We are equipped for this, y'all, and we just need to remember to put it on. Okay. Got to do it. And so I'm going to say, armor up, y'all. What can I do as a believer? Sometimes we feel like our prayers are going unanswered, or it's just like maybe worthless to pray. Is it going to do anything or whatever? I encourage you to keep praying, to just keep going in prayer. And when we're praying for other people and we're praying for situations, to me, it's like I'm actually putting it in God's hands, so I don't have to think about it and carry it and be preoccupied with it all the time. I could go on and live my day, right? I know these things are going on, but it's not going to overwhelm me. And admittedly, I have let that happen to me over the last couple of weeks. I've just been bogged down because it seems like there's one thing after another after another. And in this whole last week, it's been that every day. I have been doing a lot of research in some of these spiritual matters that are, if I can call them spiritual conspiracies. And I have to remember that even in the Bible, there's a point where there's like a cutoff where you're like, okay, I'm done. I'm done here. I have to take the tinfoil hat off. I have to stop going down the rabbit hole and on trying to prove if a conspiracy is true or not, or this corruption over here in this government is whatever. Because it's just too much. It wastes too much of my time when I could be sitting here and I could be praying. Okay. Praying, for my own sanity. But also here's something what we can do if to help ourselves. We can pray for the comfort of those who survived terror attacks and those who lost loved ones, or who are kidnapped. We could pray for these people. Okay. I am not saying a specific group of people. Okay. because this applies to anybody. Okay. You have a big world war going on. We got a couple wars right now going on. Okay. However, this equates to you. When we're thinking about other people and praying for innocent believers, let's say, innocent bystanders who are unfortunately caught up in this mess, we can pray for these people. Okay. We can pray to God for the confusion of the enemy's plans. Okay. If the enemy is, terror groups or corrupted, governments, we can pray for God to confuse their plans so that things don't work out the way they planned. Okay. We can pray that the Lord would confuse the enemy. That is a legitimate prayer. That's not evil. It's not wishing evil on anyone. It's actually more to expose the evil. We can pray for our government leaders. Now, why would I want to pray for my government? So that God would use them to bring about his purpose. Praying for our leaders just to be strong, to stand for truth and righteousness, to stand up and expose the truth, to be bold where they need to be bold. And that's not going to be pretty, but to be having that strength that they need to have while they're serving, that they would listen to the people. We need to pray for the protection of our military and good, honest military people. We need to pray for our soldiers and our special forces. We need to pray for innocent civilians, for protection, all of that, protection for all of them, safety, that they would be smart, aware, vigilant, that kind of thing. Those are the things we need to pray for our military, our soldiers. Y'all, take the challenge. Okay. Take a technology Sabbath day. Or if you're not going to be able to do a whole day, then do the first hour and the last hour of the day. And then tell me how that works out for you. Tell me how that works out in the comments. Because I believe that making those kinds of changes is going to help us mentally. It's going to help us retain our sanity. Okay. And so anyway, I'm going to sign off for now. Thanks for tuning in today. Please comment, like, share, subscribe, and all the good YouTube stuff. And y'all take care. Be aware of what's going on out there, but don't get all crazy about it. Okay. I love y'all, and I will catch you in the next video.